Hey everybody, it's Kevin Hensel from Fit for Life, and I just had a great phone coaching session with a client that I think you guys might benefit from as well. This client was working out like 4 or 5 times a week. They were strength training, they were doing cardio, they were eating right, they were eating smart, but they still weren't getting results. The body fat wasn't changing, their scale wasn't changing very much, so getting a little frustrated. They were doing the food journal, they're doing all the great things that they need to do to see results. But nothing was really happening. So I kind of stumbled upon a question, is something we usually ask in the beginning, is I asked how long was she sleeping every night? And she mentioned, oh God, she goes, I'm super stressed out. I maybe get like 4, maybe 5 hours if she's lucky a night of sleep. Um, and I wanted to dive into this because if you don't sleep at least 6 to 8 hours, and preferably on the 8 hour range, you're never going to see results, no matter how hard you work out and no matter how hard you start getting your nutrition on track. Because unfortunately, when you sleep is when your body starts to get rid of a lot of the stress hormones, usually cortisol, um, that develop in your body. And unfortunately, excessive amounts of cortisol that don't get dissipated when you sleep stick around in your system. And if you have a lot of cortisol in your system, it's a hormone, it makes you store body fat and then usually store it in your belly area, which is the most dangerous place to store body fat, and especially if it's internally stored, because fat that gets stored around your internal organs has much more detrimental effect than stored on the outside, in the adipose tissue, which is kind of have your muscle. Then there's the adipose tissue, and then there's your skin. But fat being stored internally in your internal organs can be very dangerous. So there's some great ways that you can sleep more. I mean, I can obviously tell you to, hey, sleep more. It's an easy answer, but sleeping more is a difficult problem if you really struggle with it, especially if it's been prolonged periods of time. So there's some great things you can do. First off, one of the most important things to do is exercise. The more you exercise, the more you sleep. It's really that simple. And of course, I'm going to be a promotion of exercise for losing fat loss anyway. But exercising incorporation of cardiovascular and strength training, and of course stretching, so you aren't crippled for the rest of the day, are pretty pivotal. Now, some over-the-counter medications that people can use on a temporary type basis. One of the better ones is there's melatonin, there's valerian root. I hate to say, when you smell a valerian root pill, holy crap, it smells like dirty socks, so be prepared for that. And there's also magnesium citrate. There are 3 great over-the-counter medications that have some positive research behind them about helping people fall asleep a little bit faster, um, which is great. And there's also some over-the-counter. There's, God, I had to write these down, so don't totally blast me when you hear me pronounce these words. There's diphenhydramine, and then there's diloxamine succinate, which are basically over-the-counter like Unisom, Benadryl. These are common over-the-counter sleep aids, but you have to be careful because they're basically sedating antihistamines, so they can make you feel really drowsy the next day. So make sure you have a good amount of time to sleep, a good 8 hours to sneak in, but they can kind of knock you out the next day, so you have to be a little bit careful when you take those. And some things when you're taking these over-the-counter medications, it's really important to do is always check with your doctor first, because you might be taking medications that can really interact with these medications, even these over-counter medications, that can cause some serious problems. So just make sure to check in, and there's always read the precautions on the back of these, especially the Unisoms and the Benadryls and things along those lines. They can have some pretty evil issues if you have pre-existing, like if you have dementia or Alzheimer's, that can really exacerbate some of those issues. So you want to be really careful if you're taking them, and they're just a temporary fix. If anything lasting over more than a couple weeks, you really should go see your doctor, because there are prescribed, obviously, prescription medications to help you fall asleep as well. And make sure you're just doing these one day at a time. Take them as needed. They don't need to be taken over a serious amount of time. And a lot of these, you can develop a tolerance for very quickly. So these aren't things to use on an ongoing, regular basis if you have trouble sleeping. Obviously, that'd be time to go see the doctor. You want to never take alcohol with these either. Alcohol can totally have some negative consequences and negative interactions with these medications. So be really smart and don't take alcohol with these as well. And those are the big ones. Like I said, if you don't sleep, you don't get rid of the cortisol, which is that stress hormone, which creates the belly fat. And if you don't sleep, it doesn't matter how often you exercise, and it doesn't matter how well you eat. it doesn't matter. I hate to say it. Obviously, you'll get some halfway decent health benefits, but you're not going to see the scale change. You're not going to see your body fat drop down. You're not going to see the changes in your body and the muscle definition and things along those lines, which you're the tightening and the toning, which you might be aiming for. So be smart, work out smart, and sleep smart, because it can throw a major wrench in the works and make you want to bang your head against the wall when you're doing everything else right. But if you're not sleeping right, it doesn't really mean much because your metabolism will be screwed up. And that is the engine of the car. If that's not working right, it doesn't matter what the heck else we do with everything else. So eat smart, work out smart, sleep smart. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Great job, guys.